Hi there, so we are back with part 2.5 of Attack of the Forks and Clans. In the last video we went through step 0 and step 1 and step 2, and we never got around to do step 3, this update from upstream. So let's do it now. So let's see. We were saying that MIT CML's repository is actually the main repository, is the repository that we all fork from. So this is my personal fork, and when you copy this guy and go to your command line and say git clone, it will create a clone of your fork. So this is your fork. The clone that you create is going to be local to your machine. And as you can see here, my fork has been forked from MIT CML App Inventor sources. So if you notice here, this guy was actually authored 10 days ago, which was the 21st of April. But if you have a look at the CML repository, the MIT CML repository, this guy was actually authored only 2 days ago. It was the 29th of April. So it's obvious that the MIT repository has more stuff than I do, and I want to download all this stuff. So for that, what we do is in our clone we add a remote, which is going to be that MIT CML repository, and we give it a name. The standard name, or the name that is most used in GitHub, is upstream. So that is what upstream means. Upstream is actually the main repository, but added as a remote in your clone, which is local. And what we have to do to download that stuff is pulling from upstream, and in this case from the master branch. So once I do this, a bunch of things are going to be downloaded from the upstream if my network decides to do so. So while it's doing this, as you can see, it's receiving updates. This can take a while, especially if you're not in a very good if you don't have a very good Wi-Fi connection. But while it's doing this, what we're going to get is that now all the new changes that were added to the main repository are going to be added to my clone. You have to keep in mind that they are not going to be added to my fork. They are going to be added to my clone, to the local copy that I have in my machine. So what I'm going to have to do after getting all the changes in my clone is I'm going to have to push them to my fork, and if this ever finishes, we will do that. So so in the meantime, let's look at something else. So building App Inventor, we've seen this. These are the two commands that we run to create to basically compile and build the whole project. And we're going to have to do this every time that we make changes in our local copy, in our clone. Let's see how this is going. Okay, so this guy has finished now, and it has fetched a lot of stuff from the upstream. It has changed stuff in Java classes. It has changed stuff in XML files. It has changed a lot of stuff here. So now, if we do git status, it is telling us that we are ahead of our fork by 6 commits, right? So now you should never do this straight away after pulling. You should actually do ant clean and ant and make sure that everything is working, because if you have local changes, there might be conflicts when you pull from the upstream. But in this case, I know that the branch is clean. So what I'm going to do is get push to my origin, which is my fork, and to the branch that I want to push to. And this is going to push up to my fork. And again, because my Wi-Fi doesn't seem to be helping today, this might take a little bit. But when this finishes, what we're going to see in my fork is that this guy is not going to be 10 days anymore, but it's going to be exactly the same as this guy, 2 days. And you have to pull from upstream as often as possible, as in when I say often, as in daily or maybe twice a day, depending on how many changes end up in this repository. This repository, the main repository, gets updated. At times it gets updated many times in one day, and at times it only gets updated many times in one day, but then nothing in 1 week or something like that. It depends on what we are working on and how many pull requests we get. Pull requests is something that we haven't talked about, but they are well explained in the. I'll have to make a video of it. And okay, so this guy's still going. So I'm going to stop the video here because it doesn't really add anything. When this is done, you're going to see that the two repositories are at the same level. They have the same commits. So let's see the agenda. That is all. Make sure that you read the 2 documents, and as usual you can find all the information that you want in here. This is the main site, and that is where you can find the documents. One more chance for this guy. Nah, it's still on 62, so oh, it's 100% now. Let's see. I'll give it another 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, I can't count. Okay, so now it said that everything is pushed. So now if we refresh my fork, we should see that now there is in 2 days. So we have so we are now synchronized with the main repository, which is really important thing to do. And that's all for today. See you next time. Bye bye.